Dear people of God, welcome to the Lenten Meditation series of Church of South India on the theme Journey of Transformation from Ashes to Resurrection. Today is the 24th day and we meditate on the theme Breaking Chains based on Acts 16:25-34, Isaiah 61:1-3. When we bound by something that holds us back from experiencing true peace, joy, or freedom, we try ourselves to break free on our own, but those chains often seem unbreakable. These two passages speak of the miraculous breaking of chains. These chains are not just the physical kind like the ones Paul and Silas experienced in prison, but the deeper spiritual chains that can bind us, the chain of sin, grief, hopelessness, and despair. Let us continue to put our deeper faith and hope in Jesus alone. He will break all this, even it is tied up stronger and stronger. Firstly, breaking chains to bring spiritual freedom. Paul and Silas, unjustly imprisoned, began to pray and sing hymns to God at midnight. In the midst of their suffering, they experienced something extraordinary. God broke the chains. But it was not just a physical release, it was a spiritual transformation for them and the jailer who witnessed God's power firsthand. When God breaking our chain, it doesn't mean that God wants to set us free. God wants us to stand firm in our spirituality and spread God's gospel of love to the appointed one. The jailer was bound in his own despair, but through the message of salvation, his chains were broken, and his entire family experienced the joy of new life. Secondly, breaking chains to healing the brokenhearted and setting people free. Isaiah talks about the mission of the Messiah, the one anointed by the Spirit to proclaim freedom for the captives, to heal the brokenhearted, and to release those imprisoned in darkness. Jesus came to break our chains, not just the chains that hold us physically, but the deeper, soul-crushing chains that rob us of hope, peace, and purpose. Like this, the jailer at this moment of crisis was brokenhearted. He feared the consequences of his actions. But after hearing the message of salvation, he was healed and found joy and ready to setting free his own family from bondage of darkness. Thirdly, breaking chains to restoration and new identity. The jailer's conversion is a moment of restoration, not just for him, but for his family. Through the gospel, they all experienced new identity and purpose. They were no longer prisoners. They were now part of God's family. Isaiah says that the people will be oaks of righteousness. God's work of liberation and healing transforms us into people who display God's righteousness and splendor. No longer are we bound by the chains of sin and despair, but we are now a new creation, called to live for God's glory. Let us meditate in this season of Lent that God alone can be able to breaking chains of the people who is in destitute spirituality and the oppressed, broken and the captives, and brings hopes to all who believe in God.